check this out, friends. A lot of you subscribers have asked about the garden. Well, here we are in October, and we're still getting yields like this. Check out the harvest today. Pretty good sized basket right there. Some green peppers, probably about 30 in there. It's been a great year for the garden, guys. We've had that garden for 2 years now since we moved here, and this has been the best year so far. There's some good sized ones in there. Check it out. Hard to beat, guys. Stuffed peppers all winter long. Hard to beat. Welcome back to the sawmill, guys. It's Wednesday. Heading down here to pick the trailer up and head across town and go get some hemlock. I got a phone call this morning about some hemlock logs. And that's something right there, guys. You drop what you're doing, just like black walnut, because hemlock is hard to find. So let's get this trailer hooked up and go grab Bruno and go get some logs. Well, good morning, everybody. We're back out here today. Yesterday I ran out of time. I had to homeschool Bruno during the day, run down there and grab those logs, and I barely had enough time to get everything done before it got dark last night. I left everything on the trailer. We'll get on the tractor here in just a few minutes and take those logs off and talk about them. But first things first, I got to take care of a small problem here on this tractor. So in the last video, friends, when we was putting on the third function valve, a lot of you guys commented that it's not a true third function valve, because to open up that grapple, I had to push the button, plus I had to lean back on the control arm at the same time to get it to open, and the same thing when it closed. Now, I just thought that's the way it worked. I didn't think nothing else about it. But I got a phone call that evening from Tony, the guy that brought me the tractor a few weeks ago over at Tony's Tractor Adventures. He's got a YouTube channel also. I'll leave a link down below. Go check his stuff out. But he called me that evening and said, did you put in that small little cylinder inside of the valve before you put the assembly back together? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. So he described to me what it was. I went out to my workbench, and lo and behold, there it was, lying right there on the workbench. It's a little kind of a cylinder. It's got O-rings on both ends, and apparently this is the missing component to making that third function valve work properly. And I know everybody's done that. You put something together and you look on your workbench at the end of the day and you find a few pieces that you forgot, and that's what happened here. So this right here is the key to making that a true third function. So right now we're going to go over the tractor, take that valve totally apart again, which is not going to be any fun, have hydraulic oil getting everywhere once again. We're going to place this little cylinder up inside the tractor existing valve where the fluid comes through, put the third function valve back on, and try it out. It should work properly after that. What we're hoping to get is a third function valve process on that tractor. When you push the button, the grapple opens and you don't have to pull the lever any direction. Alright, friends, I didn't really go over this a lot in the last video. One of my memory cards failed actually when I was trying to explain this. So here's the existing hookup right here, or hydraulics on the tractor. There was a plate right here. I got rid of that, and that revealed 4 ports for hydraulics to come through, or hydraulic fluid rather. And this right here is the valve that we put on. It's got 2 hydraulic quick couplers right there that run all the way to the loader. That's what the grapple goes into. It's also pre-wired here, guys. You got one hookup right here and one right there. Let me get in there and get that on the other side. And those go to the power on the tractor, and the other one goes to the switch on the handle that operates it. And something unique about this tractor, it's third function ready, which means you don't have to run your wires or nothing. This connection right here was already waiting on me to receive these other wires coming from the valve, and the same thing goes for this one right here. There's an electrical plug up in here that said third function on it. You just plug it up and you're good to go. And this is a real simple install, as long as you don't forget that valve like I did. So other than that, it's pretty simple. So let's go ahead and take this cover off. I got 4 bolts right here that hold it on, and I'll probably check out the O-rings. There's about 4 O-rings as well, and make sure I put those back in there, because one of them fell out actually when I took this cover off. So let's get to it, guys, get this thing running. We got plenty of work to do today. All right, friends, we got the valve off. There it sits. And let me just say something real fast. I love handy tools, and these right here I bought off Amazon, and they're collapsible. It's just a little bowl right here, and it's got a magnetic bottom. Talked about handy for parts and doing stuff like this instead of throwing stuff on the ground, which is what I've done for years. You just pop that right out and throw your stuff in there, and it doesn't go anywhere because that magnet's in there. I love stuff like that. They're in my Amazon store if you want to check them out. So this is what we're looking at. I'll get in here closer and I'll show you guys what this looks like going up into the valve right here. All right, this may be a bad idea. I'm probably gonna get oil all over my camera here, but you can see those ports. You got 3 small ones and the larger one, and that valve will go on this one right here with the small end going in first. And according to Tony, it will seat itself when you push it up in there and put the valve back on. So let's get the oil cleaned off this and check out these O-rings, make sure they're still in good shape, and get this done. I got this stuff all over me. All right, guys, we got the tractor warmed up. Let's see how we did. I think we're gonna be okay here. I think that's the missing part to our third function. Famous last words right there. It should work okay though. Real fast, we'll give a shout out to my buddy Chris Killinger up in Ohio. He handmakes these suspenders I wear in the videos. I'll leave a link down below to his YouTube channel, also a link to his Etsy store. And he also sells adze handles and stuff like that, and sheets for knives and adzes and all kinds of stuff like that. He does videos over at his YouTube channel showing his farm work and stuff like that. So go check him out if you have time. That's Chris Killinger, and he's also on Instagram as well. I'll leave a link down below to all his little social media sites. So you can go check it out when you have time. Get a lot of questions about these suspenders. They're really nice, guys. Handmade suspenders, hard to beat. So let's see how we did here. Let's raise up the loader. All right, guys. So I got the loader up in the air. Just gonna push the button on the left, and that should open up this gravel. Button on the left. There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. The button on the right closes it. That's what we want right there, guys. My buddy Tony was exactly right about that. That little hydraulic cylinder was the big difference maker right there. That must divert the hydraulics into a different direction, I'm assuming. That's nice right there. That makes this a whole lot easier, guys. Man, that's nice. You just push a button now. Open and close. Gosh, that's nice. Little things like that make life so much easier when you're handling this timber. So much easier. So let's jump out of the tractor for just a second and go look at this hemlock and do some measurements. I got to saw the end off of one of them, then we'll go over with the tractor and unload them. I mentioned how nice this is. Man, this is nice. You guys doing okay? Are you? Don't cover up her mouth like that, Blue. Come on now. Man, it's a nice day out here today. Mid-70s and no rain. That's hard to beat, guys. So check out this timber here, people. Eastern hemlock right there. Very hard to find because it's got some kind of bug that's killing all of them. Extremely rot resistant. It's a softwood, very similar to yellow pine. And man, the people love it around here. I get phone calls about this stuff all the time, people wanting to buy it. They use it for barns and for fences. And due to the rot resistance, they really like using it for poles and pole barns. It's good stuff, guys. Always good to have it on hand. So I got two issues with this timber, guys, and for you guys that are sawyers out there, you've already seen the first one, I'm sure. All those knots right there, my goodness, this is some knotty hemlock right here, guys. We got branches coming off everywhere. This right here was two hemlocks coming out of that base cut right there. We'll look at that in just a second. And it came out of a yard, out of an urban environment, so therefore it didn't have to fight for sunlight or nothing like that, and that's when you get a lot more limbs than you would if it came from a dense forest. Because right there you can see the butt cut of these two trees, and you can see all those limbs right there coming almost down to the bottom of the ground right there. That's a good way to always identify yard trees over stuff that comes from a forest. Let's stop videoing there for a second. FedEx just dropped off a package for us. Check that out. Little sneak preview here of a future video. Pat's Easy Change. That's a tractor system for your 3-point hitch. Right there. So more on that later, guys. Looking forward to getting that on the tractor. So right here we got the butt cut of this tree, and there's one more log. I'll go back and get it probably Monday. I couldn't get them all on the trailer safely. It was coming off right here. So you can see the butt cut right there, and it kind of split, as you can see the way this tree grew. Very odd how that happens right there. Sometimes I think maybe there was a hemlock maybe there years ago and fell over or something, then two hemlock saplings grew out of the stump. Kind of makes you think it when you see something like this. Got a void right there, and we got a double heart right there on both sides for both trunks that come out of this root right here. Pretty interesting, guys. What do y'all think about that? I think that's what happens. I think a tree falls down and two saplings comes up in its place. But not too bad here on this hemlock. I'm not sure what we will saw these into. I'm sure I'll think of something. It's got kind of a darker color right there on the end grain. So it's a little bit different from pine. It's a little bit darker than pine. And looky there. Can't beat that. Some good old poison ivy right there on it. That's probably the first thing I grab when I throw my hands on this stuff. Never fails. Let's get the tractor and get these unloaded. But before I get ahead of myself here, I need to go over and grab the chainsaw and come in here. It looks like he might have started a cut right there and finish this cut and get rid of this part right here. It's pretty useless to us. There's no crotch wood or nothing like that in softwoods to go after, and this is really short, so we'll just throw this in the burn pile. It's also not good for firewood because it's hemlock. It doesn't burn good and it messes up your chimney. Well, let me tell you guys, one of my favorite tools here at the sawmill is this chainsaw. This is a Stihl MS 461. It's a beast. I've had it for about 4 years. I paid about $1,100 for it brand new. I think they run about $1,300 now, maybe more than that. Depends on where you live. I'm telling you guys, this has been a reliable saw for me. I get questions all the time down the comments. How do I get started in sawmilling? What equipment do I need? Well, other than a sawmill, which is obvious, you gotta have a good chainsaw, guys, and a powerful chainsaw that's gonna start for you. Not the homeowner chainsaw that you find at Lowe's and Home Depot. You want to go to a Stihl dealership, because they don't even sell Stihls at Lowe's and places like that. And I recommend Stihl. I'm not affiliated with Stihl. They don't sponsor me or nothing like that, but my goodness, they make a great product. I got their chainsaws, their leaf blower, all that stuff. But what I was talking about though, you gotta have something reliable and it's gonna work for you every time. And this 461 is a beast. It starts every time, limited maintenance on it. It don't have the electronic controls on it for the carburetor or the ejection system. This is just an old school chainsaw right here. You can't beat it, guys. I'm telling you, you cannot beat it. You buy one of these, this is a lifetime chainsaw right here. Unless you're a logger, 8 hours a day in the woods working up timber, for a sawmill owner, a chainsaw like this, you may never have to replace it. Hopefully I won't have to. That was a lot of money. But I'm telling you guys, it's a good saw. So let me try to get it started up and we'll make this cut. And now that I've sat here and praised it for the past minute, it probably won't start for me. So let's see what happens here. That's all it takes right there. It primes itself. Alright guys, we're still at it. It's going on 6 o'clock. I just picked up Bruno from school, grabbed some dinner. I ran into a subscriber while I was eating dinner tonight at a Mexican restaurant. And I apologize, I forgot to get your name, but it was nice running into you. I run into people sometimes and watch this channel. It's always interesting to talk to people that watch us here. Really appreciate you guys watching. So right now guys, I'm headed down to the log yard to put on the bucket, and I'm going to answer one of the biggest questions I get here on the YouTube channel. So stick with me here guys. Your questions get ready to be answered in just a minute. Now, if I mentioned I really like the cab, this air conditioner is so nice. Man, it's nice. A lot of you guys may not be familiar with this. Let's go over the process here for taking off an implement and putting one on. It's pretty fast actually. So the first thing you want to do is take the loader, lower that down. See right there, put that grapple on the ground. You're going to take off the tension off of it. And then, as bad as I hate to do it, we're going to have to step outside of this cab. But I mentioned how much I like this air conditioner. So it's pretty simple here guys. You got these levers right here. You just pull them up. And that releases that spring that keeps this attached to the loader. And I got 2 hydraulic lines right there to take off. And you're good to go. Pull up to the bucket over there and do the same thing. It's pretty easy. Alright, so now we got the bucket hooked up, so you just push it right back down. And there you go, that's all there is to it. Over and grab this other one. Alright, that's a good sized load right there. So this right here, friends, is what happens to the sawdust here at the sawmill. About 90% of it gets loaded up in the bucket here about once a week. It's actually been about 2 weeks since I've done this. Haul it down to the burn pile and I burn it. It burns really slow and it kind of just smolders, but it burns. It's just kind of something you gotta watch. Now the rest of it, about 10% of it, goes to the garden for compost. I can't compost all this. There's a lot of walnut in here. Walnut's not good for gardens or nothing like that. It's bad for plants. So I'll do the best I can with it. And you can't really give this stuff away. It's real powdery, like like baby powder almost. So it doesn't do good for horse stalls and stuff like that. So the local farmers don't even like this stuff. I wish it did because my neighbor's got goats and horses over here, but he can't use this stuff in his barn, unfortunately. So that's what happens to it, guys, and it takes me about 10 minutes actually coming here with the snow shovel and scoop it all out, put it in a bucket and haul it down. Doesn't take too long. Will the dust collection system be better? Probably so. Will I get one day? Probably. Do I need one right now? Not really. I got enough to do right now. So this is what happens to it, guys. I bet I get 10 comments per video about sawdust on this channel. So hopefully this will answer it for a lot of you people that's been wondering. I guess we're gonna call it done, guys. It's about 8 o'clock and I need to work on this video. You guys are never gonna see it. So thanks for watching, and see you back here tomorrow. What we got in front of the sawmill? Got 3 pines and one of those hemlocks we unloaded today. We'll saw those up tomorrow, do some more 2x4s. So as you can see, I've been sawing a lot of 2x4s lately. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy this video, share it with your friends. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the thumbs up button. Really appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening. I wonder how many times the cats have used this for a litter box. Probably more than I want to know. Part up.